Yes, Hari Om Badrinaranji. I think our session has begun. Let us begin with the invocation. Hari Om, am I audible? Yes?
Yes.
Hari Om, Namaste. Am I audible? Yes, all right. Let us begin with the invocation. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Premanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Hari Om. Yes.
Hari Om.
Hari Om ji. Can anyone recollect what is it? A link. Can we establish the link to where we stopped yesterday so we can go ahead? Yes, please. Anyone? Anything, any point you can share. Yes. Ji.
For any action, we need to make some sacrifice. No action is possible without sacrifice. It can be in any form, and offering also we can offer to divine also in different forms, like mention about the music or.
That was in the previous. That was one day before, Rasha ji. I think that was one more day before. Yes. Ji.
Okay.
Hari Om. Yes. Anybody else would like to add? Yes, Vadrinaranji.
To the
okay, Om Prakash ji.
Or,
yes, please. Yes, please continue, ji.
To the question of Arjuna, the Krishna answers that the path of liberal action or the way of renunciation, they don't contradict each other.
Yeah.
And without uniting with the divine, it is difficult to reach renunciation.
Okay.
So the liberated actions and the renunciation, basically either path is actually is okay. That is what he was trying to say. They don't contradict each other. Okay, they go simultaneously. The soul which engages in yoga with a victory over his senses, his actions are liberated.
Okay.
And every action.
May I just pause may I just pause before you continue? May I just pause you here, Om Prakash ji?
Yeah, please.
Yes, please. So I'll just mute everybody. If you have anything, you can just. I think some other screen is on. Yeah. All right. So I think Om Prakash ji is perfectly said. Just once to clarify a bit, what Krishna talked about was liberated actions, meaning doing any action in consecration to the divine or connecting it with the divine, not getting trapped, but offering your actions. That is a superior path, is what Krishna actually told when Arjuna asked a question, because one side you're asking me to, renounce all attachments. Another side you are asking me to do actions, and which is win the connection with the divine. Tell me any one way which is clear. Tadekam vada nishchitya. He says, tell me with clarity what is the way. Krishna says, if at all I have to tell you one way, he says this is more superior, this path of actions, where you are uniting with the divine rather than not doing any action and renouncing everything. You are seeking the divine, yes. You are seeking to raise your consciousness to highest consciousness, yes. But it is not just by seeking only. You have to do karmas, and while doing karma, that state of mind is required. Otherwise, you will not reach that state, is what Krishna is saying. It is something which is like a cause and effect. You do it in this way, then you get the experience. If you do not do it, you will not get that experience. Why? We have already seen that previously, and I think Om Prakash ji also discussed about the Maya, or what is Srishti. We get trapped in desires, expectations. I want somebody to do something for me, and so I do something in return, then it becomes a transaction, and it doesn't guarantee that somebody else will do it. What we want, our desires may not always get fulfilled. So if we do everything for desire, It will not sustain. It will not sustain forever. Om Prakash ji, please continue. I just wanted to clarify on that one point only. Yes, sir. I think you please unmute, sir.
No, I have finished that.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
You had completed, is it, Om Prakash ji?
I have finished. Nothing.
Okay. Fine, ji. Fine. All right.
Yeah,
So,
yes.
yeah. Okay. Fine. So then Krishna says somebody who is doing his action in a state of liberation, that conscious person has raised his state to such a way that he suddenly feels he is not doing the works. He is not doing any action, but actions are being done through him. He doesn't understand that all the attributes are only that person, meaning I am more than my eyesight, I'm more than my hearing, I'm more than whatever job I am doing, I'm more than that. What am I? That we have to realize. That is the Vedantic truth. If you can realize it, Krishna says, Ya Pashyati Sa Pashyati. Like that, a person who is liberated, he understands. He's not just doing all of these. These things are happening in the Srishti, isn't it? While we are talking, we are also listening, we're also seeing, we're also thinking. Are we doing this consciously or they are just happening? They're happening. So a yogi understands like that. Life is also happening for the yogi. Life is unfolding, and the yogi is able to see behind the wheel what is happening. That is important. And the simplest way Krishna says is that that person who consecrates to Brahman every action, that person is like that Padma Patra, meaning he'll do all the actions, but he will not get trapped. He will not get trapped in the consequences of that action. It is so important. One young student, one young, what we can say, seeker of Krishna. I had a good conversation today, just some time back before our session. He has decided he wants to understand Krishna better and go ahead in his life. But in that process, he has already made a big plan for his life. He wants to make a movie. Before that, he wants to complete a course in psychology. Before that, he has just finished his degree and now he is doing a software engineering course. And now he's saying, how am I? How am I going to manage all of this? How am I going to make my movie? I'm not able to understand how my software job is going to help me make my movie, which I'm going to be doing after some years. So he's already planned his entire life, and now he thinks he only has to do everything. And the problem is when you start trying to control, how many things can we control? We can only control what is inside of our, what we can say, control area. Or we have, if you draw a circle around you, I can control what's happening around me. I can suddenly pick up my phone from here. I can pick up my book. I can say, no, don't come into this area to someone. That is my area. But what is beyond it, I cannot control. The first thing is recognizing there are extraneous factors. There are variables which will not always conform to our abilities. The simplest way is to, we had a discussion and then he also agreed. I said, can you plan what are you going to do 20 years down the line, 10 years down the line today? No, you can aspire. There's nothing wrong in aspiring, but holding your aspiration so firmly and visualizing that you only are doing everything, then what is the rule? What is the need for a divine or what is the need for anything else if you are only doing everything? But if you recognize that the divine is doing, then your job is much more easier. Because he was talking about movie, I said, if you are acting in a movie which is already going on, can the actor suddenly say, I don't like this, I want to write a new screenplay, I want to become the director? The actor cannot do that, isn't it? He can do when he gets the experience and directs his own movie. But where his role has already been defined and he's playing, he has to play that role perfectly by becoming conscious of what actors have to do a lot of study behind the backstory of their character. They have to feel it, they have to live it, they have to be that. Like that in our life also, we need to understand all these things are happening. We cannot say, I am just my job. I am in the biggest company in the world. Does not mean I am biggest person. I can be the smallest person in the world working in the biggest company, drawing the biggest salary, and still I am the smallest person. Meaning there is something beyond all these attributes. Today I lose my job. Will that mean I lose my existence? If I attach my existence to the work, then I would say I am nothing. But a yogi understands that he is much more. He is more than all of these attributes. He is conscious, he's working in sync with what we can say a divine harmony. And that is why he is not getting trapped. Many times he gets hints, he gets waves, he gets brain waves, he gets some suggestions. Sometimes he hears whispers telling him, yes, don't go into this trap. And that saves him and helps him go and utilize what faculties he has best and move ahead on the path. Well, that is how the yogi lives. He understands I want to go into that state where I am more receptive to higher thought, constructive thoughts, transformational thoughts, inspiring thoughts. These all come from elsewhere. I cannot say I am the transmitter. My mind is only a receiver, isn't it? Mind cannot become the transmitter. Mind is receiving. From where? Well, where, what frequency you tune to. And the yogi is always going into that Chintan, Atma Parikshan, Chitta Shuddhi, all these aspects he is going on because he does not think his body is his own. He does not think his mind is his own, his intellect or senses, all of them. He says, these are all faculties of me which have been provided to me, but I am a little more than that. I'm slightly aside that, Krishna says. And so they understand that the meaning of becoming detached. If you are detached, then only imagine if somebody who is like my sister, she's a badminton player, and earlier she had decided to have that as a career, but she got a bad injury. So she had anterior cruciate ligament tear. The doctor told her that now you will never be able to play, forget play, you will not be able to run. Now then she felt like dark clouds coming onto her. Why did these dark clouds come? Because she assigned everything in her life to that action of playing only. But the doctor was talking what we can say very wrong stuff. He should not have spoken that to a young girl who's having a big dream and he cannot play God and decide everything. Here doctors decided that she cannot run based on his own intellect. Whether it is based on his knowledge of medicine, we don't know. But he has used his intellect and said, you will never be able to do that. But she somehow decided to just get detached from whatever she has heard and focus on recovering and healing. She began a process of physiotherapy and it was a miracle. 8 months down the line, she again represented her college back into the inter-university. Earlier, she was walking in crutches. Within 8 months, she's back. It was least expected. She even took for some months she took up after her engineering, she decided to choose her career in the sports only for quite a few months that time. So what we see is many times things happen beyond our understanding. So we don't need to limit the entire, our vision to our understanding. Instead, we need to try to broaden our perspective to receive a higher vision, which might be something very great. Krishna goes on, this is why what is special about the yogi, because he doesn't take pride. Even the great works done are also not looked upon as great works. It is just, Damleji, my Guruji always says, Neki kar darya mein dal. Do good, throw it into the ocean like you're throwing a pebble. Can you recover a pebble that you have thrown into the ocean? No. So forget it. Forget what you have done and just go on because life is continuously. We know the world is also continuously moving. You have to be in one place. You are still continuously part of a rotating world or a universe which is continuously expanding. Yes, Miraji, we are on Shloka number 15. We are going to be looking at. I'm looking at a summary of 13th Shloka only right now. So 5th Adhyay. Krishna says these beings, they don't take pride in being the doer. They understand things are done through them, but I am not the alpha and omega of everything. There is something higher. I am playing my role. That is what the yogi understands. Krishna says when this Srishti was created, this is the metaphysical aspect of creation of universe. Krishna, of course, is not teaching all of it to Arjuna in the Gita. The context is different. But if you try to interpolate what is told here, with maybe the Nasadiya Sukta of the Rig Veda, or you try to go into some other Upanishad and try to understand. If you see Taittiriya Upanishad talks about the creation of life, how it started. It is very much exactly in the same way as the science also understands the condensation of elements and how everything Akashat, Vayu, Agni, Agnirapa, Prithvi, it just goes on. So something like that. Here Krishna is saying, well, this Srishti was created. There is a divine, Krishna is indicating to Arjuna, there is a divine orderliness in the universe. And behind that, well, when things were being created, this aspiration was everyone to have absolute divinity. But Prakriti is having an interference. It is like a beautiful ray of light when it passes through a prism. What happens to a white light? It diffracts, isn't it? The scattering of light takes place into different colors. Something like that in the Srishti also. When the descent took place, there was one small aberration. That aberration is what is causing ahankar coming into all of us. This desire, we get trapped. And this is not something new, isn't it? It happens to everybody since ages. People have, can anybody tell me since when people have been having desire and getting trapped by their desires? Anybody? Since when? Yes, if you can unmute, anybody can just unmute. And since when was it? Yes, Om Prakash ji.
Maybe since inception.
Since inception, isn't it? We don't have
Yeah.
to do anything. Desires trap. So many stories of brilliant. Deepak ji wants to share something? You're most welcome, Deepak ji. Is it? Yes, sir. Am I audible? I think there's some audio issue there. All right. Let us continue then. If that is resolved, you can please unmute. So this thing is there in this Srishti. Krishna is saying this is the game of Prakriti. Okay, Deepak ji has written since birth. Absolutely. Everybody gets that. I have desires. I get trapped. I want this person to be my friend. So I'll start trying to do things to make that happen. When that doesn't happen, I again get disappointed. Well, this is the same story across the world, across the seven seas, wherever you go. Same thing. Krishna is saying this is the role of Prakriti. Prakriti is making us have that craving to run after things. Krishna goes on. And because of this craving of things, we create our own traps of life. It's like we are only trapping ourselves in cages and we keep going around that way. And this is happening unconsciously. He goes on further. Na datte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukrutam vibhuhu ajnane na vrutam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. The omniscient one God of all subjects, man's sins or virtues, he neither accepts nor rejects. The Gunatita, it is said the supreme divine is beyond all of, beyond Papa, beyond Punya, everything. Even the, again, Shiva Manas Puja in the, what we can say, Atma Shatakam or Nirvana Shatakam, it is the same thing. It is like na punyam, na papam, na saukyam, na dukkham, na mantro, na titham, na veda, na yajnam. He is beyond all of that. So the divine is not worried about what sin is done or no, I stole a chocolate yesterday. I am going to be punished by the divine because I went and stole this chocolate. Now, how many people's divine is going to keep this person has done this person? Let that work be done by Chitra Gupta's Purana. He is going to keep that accounts. But whatever it is, supreme divine is absolutely, there's no sin and virtue because at that state of consciousness, it is a consciousness which is beyond all of this. To reach there, you have to transcend to that state. There it is different. And the divine Brahma, we'll see that later on also. In that supreme consciousness, it is beyond sins, beyond virtues. But over knowledge, there is an ignorance. Over that higher wisdom, people don't understand it. That is why they get trapped. Oh no, what a sin I have done. Arjuna went on to even tell Krishna, you are also part of this sin because you were greedy and you wanted wealth. That is why did you fight in this battle? He went on saying, this is Kulakshaya, this is Mitra Droha, this is Guru Hatya, Varna Sankaraha, Jati destruction of disturbance of Pitar. All the Papa he was describing, and suddenly he became Nostradamus kind of person, making predictions for the future also. Why? Not because he got realization, not because he got what they call Drishtanta, not because he really had clairvoyance. It was because of ignorance, his ignorance, and due to his attachments, he lost that wisdom. And so he started making all of these, games. It's like that. Sometimes God, I think parents, when they have, nowadays parents have to multitask. Sometimes they have to look after their children and do their job also. What do? They give them some, nowadays parents have mobile phone. because that's very easy. So child gets lost, but that has its own side effect. My mother, she had a very nice way, and I was a little probably dumb. But what she did was she would give me two glasses, and in one glass there would be water. Half an hour I would keep playing with that, and I would be busy for half an hour. Her job is over. She doesn't have to do anything. But here I am trapped in the maya of two glasses in water for half an hour. She's also something like that. In Srishti, we are trapped with Papa and Punya without realizing that the only sin, what is the only sin? The only sin is when you are not allowing yourself to grow and become divine. What is the punya? Anything that you do to go towards that divine consciousness is punya. How simple is that? Otherwise, people get in. Madam Liji was asked a question. Oh no, while Visarjan, I was doing this particular Ganesha fell. This this was a right-handed, what we can say, soned or right trunk Ganesha. He fell in this way while I was doing the immersion. Now I'm afraid what's going to happen to my family. Now, it never happened intentionally. Now here Ganesha is going to get angry. I got insulted because in this latitude and longitude, this particular person has immersed this murti of mine in a particular way. So I am going to curse the entire family of these people. Is that why Ganesha is considered a lot of wisdom or the great Karuna one with so much love? Well, this is the trap of the mind. People get trapped in ignorance, and so these things happen, is what Krishna is saying. People are misled because of this. The wisdom, the knowledge is governed by a cloak of ignorance. Krishna goes on, but it's not the case for all. Those who are liberated are free. They were free, they are free, they will remain free, no matter what happens. Krishna says, Jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham nashitam atmanaha tesham adityavat jnanam prakashayati tatparam. For those who are by the self's knowledge are liberated. Ignorance's darkness within them is verily annihilated. The light of knowledge in these beings glows like the immortal sun, dispelling night shadows. So it's so beautiful imagery it is. A dark night. Suddenly, when the sun starts rising, the first rays, no matter how dark the night was, the light of the sun just dispels the shadows. Like that, all sorts of ignorance inside of the individual that is dispelled by that knowledge. That is why sometimes Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Means that darkness of ignorance is dispelled. That is why they say that is Vande Guru Parampara. Why do people do namaskars, invoke their gurus? No, Guru is not standing with you. Why are you invoking? Or what can your Guru do? Can your Guru suddenly make the rain stop coming? Well, if Shishta Shraddha is there, that can also happen. Guru will do that. That is different. But ignorance is the aspect which is trapping a person. And when that ignorance is lost, you are free. The person who's liberated is not having this darkness, is what Krishna is saying. It's like the Surya, which is rising. And the rising sun there cannot be any darkness at all when the sun rises. Krishna goes on. Tad buddhayas tadatmanas tannishthas tat parayanaha gachanti apunaravrittim jnanadibhuta kalmashaha. Jnanadibhuta kalmashaha. They are going to a place where apunaravrittim, they will not return. Means what? Is Krishna going to now lock people up into one kind of, like Pied Piper? There's a story, isn't it? Krishna also has a flute and he has a divine flute. So what is he doing? Is he playing the same role of taking everybody in, doing another Maya? And I think today we discussed about Mayavi Shakti. So is Krishna using his Mayavi Shakti to trap everybody into his teachings? No, this is something else. This is the realization that's coming to the individual who has become conscious. He understands. On that self, they meditate, channeling their intellect. They understand there is that higher self. They use their intellect to understand that supreme self. Taking refuge on the self, they consciously reflect. Cleansed off their sins by the purifying waters of light towards the destination of no return, their souls take flight. This is a poetic aspect here. Means the person goes to that destination from where there is no return. Meaning that highest consciousness, once it is reached, imagine if I just understand I don't want to get trapped in this moha of attachment. Because I got bad relations, I had continuous experiences. Because of my attachments, I entered into different relationships. And then finally I decided, enough of all of this headache. Is my life only to get trapped by one person or another person? Is this just going to keep happening? I have had it. No more. When I take that decision, enough, no more. That means I'm not going to go back there when I'm consciously taking that decision. Why have I taken it? Because I've understood. I have understood that this is the main reason why I get into this trouble. So something like that, this yogi who has got that consciousness raises to that level, that limit from where, from that level from where he will not return again. Meaning he has understood he will not fall into that trap. He cannot be trapped. No Mayavi Shakti is more powerful to trap a yogi when a yogi has realized who is so powerful. When the realization comes, yesterday we saw about how the knowledge is so powerful. Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram na vidyate. Sinner also can get transformed. Anybody can just rise. So when that realization comes, then there is no return. It is like, just imagine, if you are a Rajahamsa, you are in a golden cage. Somebody is feeding you every day in that golden cage. Fine, you will feel all right. I'm getting my food when I'm hungry. It's okay. This golden cage is good enough for me. I can move around. But suddenly, when you see other Rajahansas, they have taken flight. You see them, they are flying freely and they are going where? They are going to their home, Manasarovar. What for? They want to go and eat those lotus seeds on their own. Now, when that realization comes, ki, yes, see, I don't need to be on mercy of some morsels thrown by somebody. When I can go, I can reach to that. Then that Rajahansa also decides, yes, let me break this golden prison. Let me go to that point. Let me also reach Manasarovar is my home. I have the right to go there. I have to. Like how we had in the freedom struggle, Swaraj is my birthright. I shall have it. That was what Lokmanya Tilak Maharaj had made it. It became a mantra for everyone and decided, yes, we will now not go back. We will get freedom. That is the direction. People are willing to give everything for that. Well, now another time has come in the world where we have to go to one more step ahead. Swaraj we have got, but have we got Sakshatkar? No. So we should have Sakshatkar is my birthright and I shall have it. We will have to go to that stage. Why? For the betterment of all. So when that realization comes, then the person will not get trapped into this other circle. It is just the same thing what Krishna says. When that consciousness rises, that person doesn't have to do anything special. It happens by consequence of the awakening. He goes on. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Chuni Chaiva Shwapake Cha Panditaha Sama Darshinaha. Those whose eyes are illumined with that knowledge is in sight. All living beings, all living ones appear equivalent and identical to their sight. Means all appear one. The oneness in the world is visible to someone who's got that higher insight. From the learned spiritual seeker to the elephant or the cow, from the dog to the consumers of lower animals like the sow, even like the pig or even the dog or even the elephant or this great speaker, spiritual seeker or the cow, everybody looks identical. Can someone tell me? We know morphologically everybody is different. What is Krishna talking about here that everybody look identical? Can someone just tell me what could this imply? Everybody appears identical. Anyone?
Atman is the same.
Okay, but then can we see Atman directly? We see the, how is it probably? How can can you say the spiritual seeker and the cow is the same? Or okay, but I think we'll go to Akhilesh ji and then we'll go to Badrinath ji. Yes, Akhilesh ji. Yes, please.
In a previous shloka, we were told how the yogis who have realized can see the soul inside everyone,
Okay.
and
Yes.
they realize that everyone is the same.
Okay, so I think just as Madhaviji has said that inner soul, the inner Atman is the same in all, isn't it? Whether you look at the ant or the elephant, the prana is there. The same prana which is keeping ant alive is also keeping the elephant alive. Badrinathji wants to add. Yes, please, Badrinathji, are you there? Yes, Badrinathji, please unmute. And we'll go ahead. Yes, please. Yes, sir. Can you unmute? I'm unable to hear you.
Yeah, the Atman is the same in all, and hence all living beings are one and the same. Because the
Okay.
prana,
Yes, yes.
Sut
So
prana is same.
if an ant dies, can a person bring that ant back to life? Doctors bring patients to
No,
life, they say. But ant, can anybody bring an ant back to life after life has left the ant? No. No matter how much energy we have got, means there is something higher, and one that is the Brahma Tattva or the Brahman inside. This is what the Upanishads talk about. I'll just mute Bhattanaji. There's one very interesting story. If I try to recollect it right, an incident from the story. There was a man sitting on a donkey and he was eating something, and he just entered into the village. The wise Pandit of the village looked at him and started laughing. Another person also looked with the Pandit, he started laughing, and they were laughing so loudly. Now, this guy started laughing back at them. They got worried. What is wrong? Why is he laughing? We are laughing because he is like this. Then they decided, let us go. This is similar to what Ashtavikra also had experienced. The Ashtavakra Gita is also similar. He said, you are laughing at me for my physical form because I am having this, my body is so distorted. You are laughing at it. I thought I came to a place where I'll see awakened individuals, but I've come to a place where there are fools. So I'm laughing because it's so funny that a big king is having fools in his entire court. So he didn't get insulted, or it's like, oh no, look at that insult to me. Now I'm broken because the higher insight was there. Like that. So this same thing happened here. When that donkey person sitting on the donkey and laughing, he explained to him. He said, Brahma is sitting on Brahma and is eating Brahma. So I looked at Brahma and I was asking of Brahma, why are you laughing? Now, who is this? This is the person who has got the highest realization, isn't it? He has transcended the outer, whatever, what is this out physically, it is so different. But Sri Aurobindo's experience is Vasudevam Sarvamiti. Gita will talk about it. It's a very rare experience when you can actually understand this. Because by logic, by thought, somewhere we can connect to it. But imagine if you can actually perceive it, that realization, that divinity in the world, it can be seen everywhere. We just have to keep our eyes open. Anytime we just close our eyes or we are lost in something else. But Krishna says such a person is able to see, and it's very important. Sometimes we get overwhelmed with spiritually appearing people who may not be very spiritual also, because our eyes are used to this. This robe is like this. This person, oh, this person has got more than these many centimeters beard. So this person is really realized. Or look, hair is like this, or that is like this, or outer attributes, we get so trapped. I know of one very close person. That person ended up giving donation to someone just because that person had created an aura. What I think Om Prakash ji today again talked about before the session, about some Mayavi Shakti or Sammohan Kriya. This person went and started talking. This lady did not know why she gave that money. Of course, it was not a big loss for her giving that money, but because that person went and that person convinced her, and afterwards she was wondering, why did I give this much? I should not have given. Meaning, what has happened? The person has got attached to the outer appearance, the word, and there, because I think all spiritual people should appear like this only. No, the wise person should understand what is the truth, whether it is a cow, whether it is the elephant, whether it is even the pig. There's nothing so detestable or anything. All are one is what Krishna is talking about. That is important. Let us go on. Krishna says, Ihaiva tairjitaha sargo yesham samye stitam manaha nirdosham samam brahma tasmad brahmani te stitaha. They are champions here in this world itself. Why? For with a poised mind, they have united with their self. Their faultless mind experiences Brahma's oneness, and they breathe and dwell in Brahma's consciousness. Meaning, this is something Krishna is introducing, a terrestrial realization. Meaning, let's not imagine what's going to happen after we die. I'll go to this heaven where I'll have this person looking after me, or I will get this in heaven. All desires will get fulfilled. No, this is talking about here. In this birth, you can get liberated. Why are you waiting? If you aspire for something, if you're getting it now, will you push it away somewhere else? No, Krishna is saying here itself. This is something beautiful Krishna is talking about. He says, become liberated. Don't wait for I'll have to get another 100 births, 500 births, 800 births. Who's going to sit and calculate all of this? Evolution can happen, right? It can happen quickly also. It can happen at us when it in the path of the Adhyatmic Marga. It is said, Dharma Vruddheshu Vayana Samikshate. Age, as in, that is Kalidasa's words in Kumara Sambhava. He says, age is not a factor at all. Time also. Somebody may will have to do tapasya of 12 years. I have completed 12 years with my guru. I don't know. My hair is growing faster. Probably, I don't know, intelligence is growing or not. But somebody may take 12 days only to receive what I took 12 years to understand. Some person may take 12 months. We cannot say that. There's no exact calculation where this is the scale for everybody. So Krishna is telling this is important because too many people have left the importance of the world, forgetting the important role that has to be played in the world for the spiritual life. This Adhyay is only about that material spiritual life. People have made a big mess of calling this is separate, that is separate. Don't mix those two. Where is it? Where it is one. Where is that difference? Yoga means union. Krishna is Yogeshwar. Will he not bring that union of material and spiritual? Of course. That is what is so important. Krishna says those liberated ones can become liberated here itself in this birth. Their minds are free. By those sages, let us look at the shloka again. No, I think I missed the. I think we looked at the 21st shloka. No, I just hold on, please. I think
No, no, you're seeing the 19th only.
Yeah. Yes. So we've gone to the 19th one. Yeah, we finished. We go to the 20th shloka. Yes. I think I just went into another shloka, which comes later on. Na prarishet priyam prapya, no dvijet prapya cha priyam, stira buddhir sammudha brahmavid brahmini stitihi. He rejoices not. The one who is breathing and dwelling in Brahma's consciousness, Krishna is saying, who has got that realization, that person, he's in this state. He rejoices not when his needs are fulfilled, nor grieves over the wants that are unfulfilled. With a clarity of mind, free from every distress, the awakened one resides in the eternal Brahma's oneness. So Krishna says, such a person, he doesn't rejoice when his needs are fulfilled, or grieves when the wants are unfulfilled. With a mind that is free from all pretenses, there's a full clarity of mind. What we say, Viveka is awakened in that person. He can understand what is right, what is wrong. So he doesn't get carried away. The awakened one resides in the eternal Brahma's oneness. Two quick examples I can think of. One is my teacher only. He had one wonderful manager who worked with him for so many years, for almost 10 years. And it was like they would say Ram Lakhan ki jodi, something like that, looking at him. And that manager was a student from the ashram only. So he worked for so many years and he taught him everything. And many would say he's got transformed. He has been made into a lion, what he was in this ashram before. Look at him, how he has become. But suddenly one day something happened and he decided, I'm leaving everything, and he decided to go. So much that one very senior sadhika came to see Damleji and ask, how are you? How are you dealing with this big loss? Because somebody is so important who's been directly working for 10 plus years. How are you dealing with? She came in the rain. She had caught an auto rickshaw just to come and meet my teacher. He was calm only and he said a beautiful dialogue. He said, ईश्वर ने बिन मांगे मुझे दिया और बिन बताए ले लिया. Means without asking, he gave me this wonderful person and then took away without telling me. So what loss is there? Or one more, don't rejoice, he had told me, was when suddenly when I first classes I was conducting, and electricity before the class minute goes, I used to get worried, especially in the factory. When I was at the factory, there were a lot of power drops. So electricity is gone, then I was disappointed. Suddenly electricity has come, I was celebrating. Just happy, and electricity has come, again it has gone. Now what has happened here? Full circle of emotions. Over what? He said, don't rejoice, was what he said. Be grounded. So that was a big lesson, because otherwise we will keep jumping to the changes outside of our life. Everything. One good news comes, we start getting excited. Oh wow, oh my God, what a beautiful. Before we finish that statement, one bad news comes. Again. We don't have to be fluctuating. That's what a yogi does. He is residing in the oneness. He is in that state of consciousness. It's actually very practical, and this consciousness, sometimes this is a word which is marketed very well. Damliji said this will be the most marketed word almost 10 years before he said. Now I am seeing courses where people are paid courses for giving consciousness. Tomorrow we'll have consciousness in sale in golden bottles, maybe. We don't know how it's going to work, but it is something. Yes, somebody wants to add. Madhveji? Yes, please. But no naming anybody. If you are giving any names, no individuals' names in our session. If you are going to, I just said, just a suggestion. Please go on. What were you saying, Ji?
No, for happiness and it's automatic, Mr. Shruti. It will
Yes,
react.
yes. Yes, but we have to not get over the, what we can say. I think in birthday parties, child gets very excited looking at the cake, starts jumping like there are two springs under the leg. But in that action, uncontrolled action, hand hits the cake. What happens? Cake falls down, the big smiley becomes upside down, isn't it? So uncontrolled rejoicing. Athletes, why children? Athletes in Olympics also start celebrating before crossing the finish line, and then they lose 4+ years of entire weight and maybe 20, 30 years of sadhana, whatever, 10 years, 15 years. They might have done a lot of physical efforts because that moment may not come again, and it was lost because this person started rejoicing just in a state of emotions. So we should be happy. Krishna is not saying don't be happy at all, but contain your happiness. Like eating a good dish, don't quickly eat the dish and then we feel, oh no, I didn't eat it only, or did I get it? Take that morsel, enjoy each and every morsel, something like that. Krishna says don't just get carried away by the emotions, and don't grieve unnecessarily also. Sometimes people grieve too much over some loss. Then they add the suffering angle. There are people who, everybody faces loss in life. Emotional, physical, economic, material, all types of. Sometimes even on a spiritual path, somebody just falls from consciousness. That's a loss only. It's a big loss. Everybody experiences loss sometime or the other. But we shouldn't attach to our loss, and then what happens emotionally? You add suffering to an already bad time. It's like you're adding more things. Instead, become calm, let the time pass. One young sister of mine, she got cancer, that 2/3 stage, suddenly. Now, if she becomes emotionally disturbed with this distressing news, a doctor even told you have 4 months to live. What will she do now? Look, young girl. But she decided, she spent the time cleaning her room and invited her father and mother to come because they were far away. And till he came, I want the place to be very clean. And then she told about the diagnosis, how difficult it is. But then she did come out of it. She came out very strongly also. The completely table has turned. Why? By her efforts also, doctor's medication also. We're not negating that. But the will of the spirit. And one more aspect is she didn't add to the already suffering aspect. I have had one friend of mine also who came out of it at an early age. The singular factor, she was one of 18 patients who made it. 17 didn't for the same time. My mother's a pathologist. She got on her table only she got that case. So I came to know about it because she was my school friend. But she was the 1 out of 17, meaning distressing news also don't add your emotions to it, don't attach it and make it worse, complicate it further and add to the suffering. We have to try to remain balanced. Just as how difficult it is not to get overexcited in good moments, it is equally the same thing. You should, in bad moments also, don't get over depressed also. Just, you are alive, you are in this moment. Face it, it is difficult, all right, but remain calm because I think Sri Aurobindo says it is only in the calm that the divine works. Let the divine work, he'll take you out. We'll see some interesting aspects of the divine as Krishna talks on. Let us continue. Krishna is saying, Bahyaspar Sakta Atma, Vindatyatmani Yat Sukham, Sa Brahma Yoga Yuktatma, Sukham Akshaya Ashnute. That is the aspect Krishna says. He who is not touched by the sensations external, he enjoys that prasada. enjoys the blissful realization of the Supreme Self eternal. He who has united with the Supreme Self Brahma, he enjoys the boundless bliss of union with his soul, with his Atman, meaning the inner spirit. When you become one with the inner spirit, that inner spirit is there inside of us, is what Krishna has been telling right from second Adhyay. He says that is an eternal spirit. When the body also perishes, that spirit still remains. Body goes through changes, and Krishna is saying an individual can probably somehow connect with that. And when he connects with that, all is Ananda. Tukaram had said, Anandachi dohi Ananda taranga. Anandachi anga, Ananda, everything is Ananda. Body is Ananda, the ripple is an Ananda, there's a full, what we can say, water body of Ananda only. The ripples are also Ananda. Yes, Arvindji wants to add something. Most welcome, Arvindji.
Jivatma meeting Shivatma.
Yes, ji? Jivatma?
Jivatma meeting Shivatma.
Okay, Jivatman meeting the Shivatman or the Pam. Yes, that's so beautiful. Yes, absolutely. That realization is possible, is what Krishna is talking about. And it is a Akshaya Sukha, meaning a Sukha which will not deteriorate. Today's Adhyay, so many things Krishna is talking about is just growth. Many times it is said Adhyatmic Marga is the Marga where there is no loss, there is only growth. Nothing is certain but the certitude of victory, victory of truth. There is nothing more certain than that. And when you're on the path of truth, you're already on the victorious path already. Walking on the path itself is a big thing. It's like you are choosing the divine, or has the divine chosen you, is the big question you have to try to understand. And when you understand it, then there's nothing more than that. It's a joy, an endless bliss is what Krishna is talking about. Krishna again explains to Arjuna, Yehi sansparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavantaha kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. From the sensual means, all the enjoyment that come portend towards gloom, and only sorrow they become. For they are fleeting with a finite beginning and end. O Arjuna, the wise, they attract not the wise, who clearly comprehend. So the wise ones can understand, yes, I want something which will remain eternal. Young Nachiketas in Kathopanishad was lured by even Yama. Yama tried to, it's very wrong to try to manipulate a young seeker like Nachiketas, but it was a test and he was confident probably. So what does he say to Nachiketas? He says, Nachiketas says, I want that knowledge. Somehow it's an interesting story. You can try to look at the story of Kathopanishad. But Nachiketas is offered because Nachiketas wants a very high truth. I want that higher truth which even the gods don't know in the Svarga Loka. I want to realize that highest truth. Nachiketas is then Yama says, no, don't take that truth. I'll give you something. He says, I'll give you a boon. He says, I will give you all the wealth in the land. You will be the richest person. You'll own so much property wherever your eye can see, as far as that or beyond also you will get. Nachiketas doesn't look impressed. Then he tries to keep on, luring Nachiketas further. He says, you will have the most beautiful wives. Now, for a small boy who's not having any of this, he says, you will have those, even the greatest of warriors will not, those wonderful women, you will have all of them, whatever you choose. Nachiketas is probably yawning, he's not really interested. Then Yama increases further. He says, not just that, you will have a very long span of several years, several hundred years, and for next 10 generations, all your progeny will live for full 100 years. Full lifespan is what Yama says. Maybe somebody will say, this looks profitable. No problem, let's make a deal. But Nachiketas has understood what is Shreyas and what is Preyas. What is desirable is called Preyas, and what is Shreyas is something which is beyond the senses and beyond the desire, which is right. What is right? Even Arjuna is very clear. He says, Yat Shreyaha Sada Nishchitam Bruhi Tanme. Tell me what is Shreyas. I want to know that. So Nachiketas says, okay, you give me all the land. Give me absolute supremacy with this much finite time. What will happen, Yama? At the end, you are going to come. And when you come, you will take all of this away. What's the use of all of this, which is having a temporary? Give me that only. I don't want anything. Don't give me any other offer. I'm not interested in any of that. I want this only. Something like that. The wise are able to understand. Yama appreciates him. Not only does he appreciate him, he blesses him as well. He says, Nachiketas, you have chosen right. This was a test. You have done well. I will give you. And then what Nachiketas gets is also beautiful. But let us continue here. Krishna says, this is what wise understand. They say that no sensual pleasures. I want to drink a lot of different drinks, maybe mocktails or maybe even alcoholic drinks. I have this desire. Can I continue this for 50 years, 60 years? Maybe it will work for some more years. Then when my body starts complaining, what's going to happen? Somebody who has extreme desire for sweets, suddenly such a person gets diabetes. What will happen to that person? That person, no, what has happened to the world? Everything in the world is gone. Why? Because desires only completely, ruining that person. That person is only driven by desires, and desires have limitation. And worst part of desires are they keep changing also. My desire, which was 5 years back, is different from what was 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. Sometimes one day ago, I had a different desire. Today, I have an opposite desire. What can you do about it? Wise decide, no, I will not become a plaything of the forces of nature. I'll be something beyond all of this. That's what the Krishna is saying. Wise are able to understand that. And the next shloka, he says, how is it possible? Because he's been talking about the highest bliss. How do we get it? Krishna is actually very practical when he speaks about it. Later on, when you dig the shlokas deeper, you will see greater metaphysical meaning. But on the surface, there is already a practical meaning in every shloka. Let us look at this one. Krishna says, Shaknoti haiva yaha sodum praksharira vimokshanat kama krodhot bhavam vegam sa yuktaha sa sukhi naraha. Who is that nara? How is that nara going to be sukhi? How will the human being be blissful? Simple, Krishna says, he who is able to bear and sustain the rush of anger and the gush of desire. In this very birth itself, he shall obtain the highest realization of bliss that man can acquire. It's almost like moksha only is so simple. Just desire, anger, these two things. Somebody who is able to control the rush of anger and the gush of desire. It is most of these moments only take control, no? Suddenly one moment of desire, one moment of anger ruined everything. And Krishna is not saying somebody who is a stone, who is never having anger, who is never having desire, that person can get liberated. No, he's talking about human beings only. Human beings will have anger, human beings will have desire, but those who can control that, those who can control, it is always, it happens in a moment, and if you have the control over that moment, that's it, it will not trouble you at all. But somebody who is able to have it in different moments, nature keeps testing us, creating situations where every time we feel we are in control, suddenly something happens out of control. And how do we react? If we don't control it, we get trapped. And if we control it, we can remain in Ananda also. Sometimes it is there. I saw one person being provoked so badly by people whom he had cared for, a father being provoked by the children to speak something. They wanted him to be angry, and it was a very sad sight to watch, but I was witness to it. But I saw that individual very calm, stoic silence, calm and peaceful. Every single thing was the worst thing, and it kept on descending, meaning the status kept on descending, doing things to provoke that person so harshly. Yet that person maintained the calm. That was when I understood, see, this is the character of the person. You can understand why are you searching for a yogi or some great muni? That muni is in front of you only. Which rishi is going to bear what this person has borne? But what is it that was special here is the ability to control, because it's so easy to get angry. It is so easy to have desires. Controlling it is the real way. And if those who can control, they can have that ananda. I saw that person have a serene smile in a moment which doesn't look like anything. No, but a person would be broken. I have done all my life things for my children. Look at this, how these children have behaved. When that happens to a person, how painful it is. And no parent ever does something wrong to any child intentionally or anything, isn't it? But when it happens like that, then it's like always the expectations, the desires, or this is not fair, or somebody will get angry. I cannot tolerate. But no, not yogi. Let's look at Krishna in the Gita. Second Adhyay, after talking such a big sermon Arjuna gives to Krishna. Before Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna gave a full pravachan to Krishna about Papa and everything. That time he even accused Krishna. But look at Krishna's stance. Prahasanniva Bharata. Meaning Arjuna, his hero, has said, boss, I'm not going to fight. I think when friends when we were young, we used to have cricket match, and suddenly last minute when my friend says, no, my parents have told me not to go out to play, we decide this person will never be on our team anymore. We get so angry at that person, we feel like getting angry and hitting that person. That is what anger does. But look at Krishna, when his own champion decides to withdraw, he's still having that quiet serenity and silence. Well, that is what we can say is the highest realization a person can get. It is simple. Control your anger, control your desire, control those moments. Sometimes and most of the times, decisions don't take them when you are in a rush of emotion. Mostly they are going to be wrong decisions. Become calm and then take the same decision afterwards. Nobody is going to stop you from taking a decision, or that authority is yours. But how you take it, at least take away these two factors. It will be very easy. You will be happy and blissful, is what Krishna is saying. And he goes on further. Yo antaha sukhontaraatman sukhontaramas tathantara jyotir evayaha sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhuto digachati. One who experiences the bliss of realizing the inner self and also sees the light kindled within oneself. That yogi who realizes the state of a divine extinction merges into the Brahma, gaining absolute dissolution, meaning that person suddenly connects only with the higher realization completely. Means that yogi, that is that tendency inside of the yogi. Suddenly, when the highest truth is understood, then it is like all the other degrees, everything disappear. Like when that in the face of the highest truth, only truth can exist, nothing else beyond that. That realization Krishna is talking about, it's a high one. Krishna goes on. What happens to such people? Well, he's not talking about complete extinction, means that person has ceased to exist. The ahankar inside of the person has got extinct. Person will live, breathe, dwell, do all the duties. But such a person who has reached that state where he's gone beyond it, that is what Krishna talks about. Next shloka. Labhante brahma nirvanam rushaya kshina kalmashaha chinnadvaidha yatatmanaha sarva bhuta hiterataha. This is another beautiful aspect. Every karma done by that person is like sarva bhuta hiterataha, meaning it is for the betterment of the world. That is the charity of that person. Every karma becomes a charity. Whatever word he does, whatever action, it becomes like that when he reaches that state. Because when this extinction into Brahma is attained, for those sages, a redemption is gained. These illumined masters with minds free of uncertainty, their every work done for the good of all becomes charity. Means every single work done by that person, it leads to the betterment of others. Many of these great yogis and gurus, what do? They just sometimes just give the ashirvad. They say bless. They just say go ahead, tathastu. That's all. People with biggest doubts come and ask their doubts, and then suddenly one word and that person is doing. What has he done? He is spoken only, that person is only going to do all the works in the material world. But this act becomes charity. Why? Not because he's using what we can say good language, or he's using good communication skill, he's got some good training to speak to people. No, that consciousness starts functioning. Now just look at it. Even I gave the very practical example of two scientists who were also spiritual, Dr. Abdul Kalam and Mr. Arun Tiwari. What is his guru told him? His guru has told him, go into medical field. Now, how logical it is for asking a mechanical engineer to enter into medical field to develop something using missile technology into medical field. It looks crazy, but look at the intention behind. And the guru's intention was what? Look, all this is very costly. Something has to be done. The scientific innovation must benefit the masses. That was the entire, what we can, again, we can say it is a goodwill, isn't it? Loka Sangra, for betterment. And the receiver also received it correctly, and that is why it went and it became what they call Kalam Raju stent. The Shishya names it not after himself, but after his guru and the cardiologist he works with, Dr. Soma Raju and this Dr. Abdul Kalam. That's all. And that stent becomes the first of its kind in India, the cheapest of the coronary stents, which then helps so many thousands and thousands of people. Now, wasn't this act of the guru telling him to go into this field, which was absolutely unconventional, wasn't it an act of charity for the world? Did he have to himself do the research? No. So that consciousness is what Krishna is saying. And of course, Dr. Kalam had reached that state of, definitely, he had reached a high state by great karma also, not just by knowledge. He was having humility, which is an adornment. They say, Vidya Vinayana Shovate. Wise people are actually, what is the adornment? It is humility only. So that was visible in Dr. Kalam, but his karmas also are very strong. Great works. And so consequently, he got that consciousness. He didn't say, I want to get this consciousness only, so I'll not do any karma. I'll just start doing certain things. It just happened naturally. It is like when the lotus blossoms, Brahma will come automatically, something like that. That opening, Krishna goes on further. Let us see. He says, Kama Krodha Vayuktanam Yatinam Yatachetasam Abhito Brahma Nirmanam Vartate Viditatmanam. We have just three more shlokas. We will complete it today. This Adhyay also will get covered that way. The sages of the awakened self are liberated and free, for in their minds no desire or wrath can unconquered be. For within themselves the nirvana of Brahma they withhold, and around them this realization in all directions they unfold. Meaning this Brahma Nirvana, or the highest realization, is experienced by that person, and it starts radiating in the aura of that individual. Since we have talked about Dr. Kalam sir, even before Dr. Abdul Kalam became so famous, when he became the HOD of the DRDO, Tiwari sir's first experience was he was sitting in the library reading, and suddenly pin drop silence happened because somebody was passing, new HOD is walking. He did not know who it is, and that was the first time he experienced, he said, the aura of Kalam sir. He had come in, and everybody who didn't know also, he is that one who has taken part in that missile system successfully. He has done this development. He is our HOD, and everybody in the library became quiet. Later on, when he became president and Tiwari sir was his advisor, that time also he had a similar experience. The president of the other host country says that you are more popular than me in this country. Because that's how people came. That was how. The aura is something, and Krishna says these awakened ones, they generate an aura which radiates in all directions. That's what Krishna is talking about. He says, Yati nam yata chetasam. Yati is another state like Mumukshu, like Muni. These Yatis, they have an aura around them wherever they walk. It was said Buddha had an aura which went to kilometers. That was what was believed or understood. Suddenly, two people fighting will suddenly stop fighting because they have come in contact with that aura. That was what it is. So let us continue further. Krishna says, he goes on, Sparshan Krutva Bahir Bahyans Chakshush Chaivan Tare Bhruvoho Prana Pano Samo Krutva Nasabhyantara Charinam. Interestingly, suddenly Krishna is giving a meditation technique to Arjuna. And after he has talked about the auras, means we can say this is one of the techniques which helped cultivate the aura only. Probably, what is it? Krishna says, shunning all external touches. He's talking about those awakened sages who had raised their consciousness. He says, shunning all external touches, they concentrate. Where? Focusing at the sun center, between eyebrows, they meditate. Controlling their life force entering and leaving the nostril, their inhalation and exhalation, they equalize by their will. This is actually a very simple technique, but Krishna mentions it so simply that it's like a blink and a miss. You will miss this shloka, you will miss the technique offered by Krishna. Very beautifully. He doesn't talk about Kundalini, he doesn't talk about anything else. He just talks about, he says, shunning all external touches. They concentrate. Where do they focus? At this point, Brur Madhye. This is something which is special, where we put the tilak or the bindi, whatever it is put. Well, it is a special point, Krishna says. At that point, they focus and they meditate, controlling the life force, entering and leaving the nostril, their inhalation and exhalation. They equalize by their will, meaning the prana and the apana, the inhalation and exhalation, they control. Can we just try it for 2 minutes now? Just 2 minutes. Can we try this meditation technique? It is just that forget all external touches. No lizard or spider is going to fall on us right now for 2 minutes. We just have to forget all other outer things. Focus at this point between the eyebrows. If you can, just try to focus. We can close our eyes. Inhale and exhale. Time for inhalation should be equal to time for exhalation. If we are inhaling for 3 seconds, exhale for 3 seconds, you are for 2.5, as per your convenience. As per you, just let us just try for 2 minutes only, and then probably we can even stop. We'll stop with this technique. So tomorrow we'll continue the next part of this adhyay and next as well. Monday, that is. Let us begin. I'll just say Hari Om. You please close your eyes for 2 minutes. And inhalation and exhalation, that is all that you have to look at. Watch the airflow inside and go out. At the same time, if you can focus on the point between the eyebrows, let's just give it a shot. Hari Om. Hari Om. We actually just went for 1 minute only, but I remembered the time is also, everybody has your own responsibilities, but we just looked at it. Maybe did anybody get a different experience in 1 minute also? It's like water also needs 2 minutes for boiling. It is understandable, but would anybody like to tell me what you felt while doing it, if you were doing it for the first time? Yes, sir. Deepak ji, if your audio is working, you could share, or you can type. Anybody? Okay, Deepak ji says felt very good. Sometimes a very calm feeling. Or what happens is suddenly your thoughts start becoming slower and slower. That is something very interesting. Once I got backstabbed from a friend and I was very disturbed, so disturbed that I couldn't go to sleep. Then we remember Krishna only in these times better. So that time I sought Krishna's intervention, his little help I wanted, and I remembered, this technique is there. But that backstabbing was so strong that I was having difficulty doing this only. It took me nearly half an hour to get into the point where I can control my breathing at a very proper manner. And then after this dhyana, I had a very good sleep, a very peaceful sleep. And something very nice happened the very next day, which I don't know, I attribute it to this, we can say divine grace or whatever it is. But the thoughts which were disturbing me, which were not allowing me to even breathe comfortably, that was some incident which had taken place, that I came to terms with it. And that was very important for me to take a next step. So this one technique not only helps us, we'll see benefits also of it later on. I would say if you've understood the technique, we'll have a revision tomorrow, but just practice sometime. I know one person who has been doing it regularly for half an hour for the last 1 year. After the Gita, after being introduced, Krishna has told us, so I'll do it. And so for who has never meditated, he started doing it for half an hour and he's got some very beautiful experiences. I know one person who said, I'll do for 2 minutes only every day. But even that 2 minutes is fine. That person is doing and is enjoying that 2 minutes. I think Deepak ji has talked about yoga nidra may also come. That's fine. Whatever, everybody has a different experience. We are free to take it. We are not going to copy somebody's template. We need not worry about the scientific or whatever things are happening inside of the body while this is taking place. What we can try to do is just focus on this. Maybe if we can add this, Why it is added suddenly? Why should Krishna talk about meditation? We will see it later on, but this has its benefit, and Krishna talks about the focusing a point between the eyebrows. That also has its significance. Just, I would say, you can just try starting it. And best advice I had got from my guru when I couldn't meditate, and I told him, I'm jam nahi raha hai meditation. He said, acting karo. I was surprised. What is this? But at least I started doing because of that. So if you are doing this, forget all external touches. If you have, unless you have kept something on the stove, or you turn it off for 5-10 minutes. Go, just do your work, assignments, projects, everything for 5 minutes, some quality time. We like quality time with near dear ones. Our dearest one, who is also divine, is inside of us, and we don't take quality time for it. Just let us try taking some time out. All different experiences will come. Initially, you'll feel somebody is calling you. I used to feel somebody's calling, or then somebody's scratching, or there is an insect somewhere. No, 5 minutes. If you are in a good place in your home, which is clean, you're not in a cave, you don't need to worry about any other external interruption. Tell everybody I'm out of coverage area for next 5 minutes, next 6 minutes, unless, of course, the house is on fire and you have to run out. Let us not think about anything and focus. This is one technique which is beautiful. Krishna tells only 2 techniques. This is the simplest one, which is, I have experienced it even during fever. It can be done without troubling ourselves. Without, it actually helps you become. When I had corona, I had to take Gita class also, and my SpO2 level was going bad. This technique helped, and I then slept very happily with my open mouth. I don't know, next day morning, I got a good SpO2 level, became normal also. I'm not saying this is to be done for reducing or controlling levels, but its benefits are there. I would just, that's why I had to emphasize it again. Please do start meditating. We will hear about meditation later on in the Gita also. It has its benefits, and they are brilliant only. It is not for the benefit, it is for the raising of ourselves. Let us get an experience. Let us not even follow somebody else's template. Why eat from somebody else's plate when you can take in your own? Something like that. Let us look at it. We will conclude today with the Shanti Mantra. Tomorrow we will Monday we will complete this Adhyay and begin. Next Adhyay, there's going to be one more technique of meditation. After that, Krishna will stop his meditation lecture to Arjuna, and he will start telling something else. Let us conclude here. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kasyit dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tatsat. Krishna Mande Jagat Guru. Hari Om Ji. Namaste. Any queries? Most welcome. Hari Om Ji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Namaste Ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji. Namaste Ji. Hari Om. Hari Om. Any queries? We could look at it, or we'll conclude our session today.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji. Namaste. Hari Om. So can we conclude our session then? All right. Jai Shri Krishna.